Hey guys, what's going on? Future Kevin here. So I just want to take a look at the Philadelphia Flyers here with Nolan Patrick. We have gotten, since I made this video, probably a little bit confusing, but we have now gotten confirmation that the Philadelphia Flyers, Nolan Patrick, did get a new agent because he wants to get out of Philly. So if you guys have anything to say about, there's, more to the story, this is it. Yes, he is wanting out of Philadelphia at this point. So the speculation throughout this video, it's still a good video. So I just want to clarify that. But yes, he does want out of Philadelphia at this point. So get you back to the video. Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. We are taking a look today at the Philadelphia Flyers' former second overall pick, Nolan Patrick. He's up for a contract this summer, and we've kind of forgotten about Nolan Patrick. What kind of contract could he get? Will he stay with the Philadelphia Flyers? We'll be taking a look at all of that in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, and even better, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. So let's take a look at Nolan Patrick. Nolan Patrick, a name you've probably heard of before, right? Now, I remember back in 2016, after the Austin Matthews Patrick Laine draft, we were talking about, the Hockey Insiders were talking about the 2017 NHL Draft class. And it was for sure a foregone conclusion that the 2017 first overall selection would be 6'3", 220-pound center playing out of the WHL, a big boy out of the Alberta League, out of the Brandon Wheat Kings, Nolan Patrick. He was the next big guy. He was the next Eric Lindros-esque player, but in the future of the NHL. And for all of that season, we were talking about Nolan Patrick, and he's the hype, and he's the next great, going to be the first overall pick selection in 2017, and that didn't happen. It didn't happen. We saw a little bit of a change with the draft lottery system, and that had a little bit to do with this as well. But the New Jersey Devils win the draft lottery in 2017, and they select Nico Hischier. And everybody was a little bit surprised, but not really surprised. It was one of those weird things. And the Philadelphia Flyers had moved up in the draft lottery, all the way up to number 2, where they would select Nolan Patrick. And that worked out pretty well for them. Now, here's something that may ruffle your feathers a little bit. Let's go back to that draft, just for fun. Let's go back to that exact draft class. 2017 NHL Draft. Because if I remember correctly, the Carolina Hurricanes had that third selection. No, they did not. Oh, even better. Even better. This is gonna sting for the Flyers fans out there. And I don't mean to make this a video like, bad mouthing Nolan Patrick, but let's just go through the top 10 draft picks, shall we? So at number 1, the New Jersey Devils select Nico Hischier. At number 2, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies, select the big centerman out of the Western Hockey League, Nolan Patrick. At number 3, the Dallas Stars select Miro Heiskanen. Yeah, he's turned out to be a pretty good defenseman, right? At number 4, the Colorado Avalanche select Cale Makar. At number 5, it gets even better. The Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, Jim Benning, the good drafter, selects Elias Pettersson, that little kid out of Europe. Yeah. At number 6, the Vegas Golden Knights, with their first expansion pick, select Cody Glass. At number 7, the New York Rangers select Elias Anderson. All right, we've seen that one hasn't worked out so well. At number 8, the Buffalo Sabres select Casey Middlestat. That is still to be determined at this point, in my opinion. At number 9, Detroit selects Michael Rasmussen. Kind of fitting because those two are in very similar boats. Big power forward, top 6 player. And, Michael Rasmussen is playing in the NHL for Detroit, but maybe not that player that they were hoping with a number 9 selection. And at number 10, Owen Tippett. Now, if you want to go even further down, at number 12, you have the Carolina Hurricanes' Marty Necas, who has actually looked like a very talented rookie here in the 2021 postseason. And honestly, you could argue he should have gone before Nolan Patrick at number 12. So that's got to sting for Flyers fans just a little bit, looking back at that draft class just 5 years ago, and 4 years ago. And it's one of those things, because you look at what Nolan Patrick has done in the NHL. He hasn't even been a bad player. You look at his numbers in his first season. He put up 30 points in 73 games. He did not play a full season. Then you look at the next season. He played a 72-game season. He put up another 31-point season, so he actually improved. In one less game, he got one more point. So slightly better. Whoop-de-doo. But usually you would expect a sophomore slump. That didn't happen. Now in year 3, obviously with the pandemic and everything else and injuries and a lot of off-ice stuff. And I don't really want to get into that because there's been talk about mental health and things like that. And I try to avoid all of that because that's not my wheelhouse. I'm here to talk about hockey and points and stats. And at the end of the day, Nolan Patrick did not put up the points. And at the end of the day, the NHL is a business. And when the gap is so small in terms of skill between player A and player B and player B and player Z, unfortunately, a player like Nolan Patrick very easily finds himself falling very far down the depth chart. And we saw that here in 2021. Guys have just stepped up ahead of Nolan Patrick. And you look at this season, 9 points in 52 games. And I made a video actually right in the beginning of the playoff bubble. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, guys. The playoff bubble. The playoff bubble, we talked about, Nolan Patrick coming back this season and looking to, kind of resurrect his career. This was an opportunity for Nolan Patrick to really get off on the right foot and kind of just change everything. So we forget about what happened the first 2 years and he could really hit his stride going into this contract year. And it didn't happen. There were just too many guys that were better than, better than Nolan Patrick. You look at the center core for the Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, you have Coots, you have Sean Couturier. You have even Claude Giroux, who he may be on the way out. There's been rumors even this week that he may go to Buffalo, which seems a little bit odd, but still out there. Kevin Hayes, another center. We're even talking about a guy like Scott Lawton, who can play center. Yes, I know he doesn't always play center, but he can play center. We're also taking a look at Morgan Frost, a prospect who has now jumped a guy like Nolan Patrick. So this is the kind of stuff that's not going to fit too well with the Philadelphia Flyers. And now Nolan Patrick finds himself kind of on the outs. Where does he even fit in with the Philadelphia Flyers now? And not to mention, in year 3 here in Philadelphia, Nolan Patrick is now on his 3rd agent. So if there wasn't enough fuel to add to the fire, just to add a little bit more to it right there, just slosh a little more gasoline on the barn fire. And that has been the situation for Nolan Patrick in Philly. So now we got to get to the question, what is the future of Nolan Patrick in Philly? We've got enough context here, so let's move a little along with this. So there's a couple things to consider. So the first thing is, you got to look at, does Philadelphia even want to make this relationship work? It's one of those things where, do you go, if you're Alain Vigneault, it's more of a it's not you, it's me thing. Like, I just don't see this working because, let's be honest, the Philadelphia Flyers have enough cap issues. And I do not see Nolan Patrick taking a 1-year Flyer contract here, at least in Philadelphia. He's got to at least test the market for himself. I think he's doing himself a disservice if he doesn't do that. So, signing a 1-year prove-it deal may be his only option. But if he does that with the Philadelphia Flyers, he's selling himself short. I think he's better off testing the market And if it takes, I don't know if he's arbitration eligible. That's going to be an important factor as well in terms of leverage. But even for the Philadelphia Flyers, do they even want to keep him around? And if they're going to give him, I'm going to say between $2 to $4 million in a contract for maybe as much as 3 to 5 years, do the Flyers want to commit that kind of money to a guy that's kind of a project at this point? And I looked at a couple of articles from Flyers, media and local insiders from the fan base, and a lot of those guys were saying, I don't even know if I want Nolan Patrick back at this point. So if that's the case, if you don't keep Nolan Patrick, because let's be honest, it's not going to be a one-year deal. He's going to sign a one-year deal with the Flyers. But I'm going with the assumption that it's either going to be a one-year deal with Arizona or some other team on a short-term leash deal, or it's going to be a bridge deal, a 3 to 5 year deal at between $2 to $4 million per season for Nolan Patrick. I just think that's the stance at this point, because Nolan Patrick, especially with the way he's played, let's be honest, he's a guy that's looking to make generational wealth. And I don't listen, if I was in Nolan Patrick's spot, I would still be looking to get that long-term deal as well. I'm looking to get the bag myself. I don't blame him. So if he's going to settle himself on a one-year deal, at the end of the day, it's going to be because he had no other takers. And I find that hard to believe with that name, Nolan Patrick, the big 6-foot-something, 200-pound guy that was a former second overall pick. There's a general manager around the league somewhere out in the abyss that's going to come out of nowhere, come out from, Nolan I'm just seeing the storyline here. You got Nolan Patrick locked up in a cell in the asylum, and you have this GM with a cloak over his face, and he's sliding the key under the mat in the cage, and he's given the ticket out of Philadelphia or out of the asylum for Nolan Patrick. And he's just got to hit the detonate button, and Nolan Patrick walks out skate-free. He ends up in a truck somewhere, and he ends up in Anaheim or Arizona or Seattle, wherever he ends up. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Yes, it is 2 o'clock in the morning. I am going a little bit insane, but that's all right. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. But we have to look at what is the best fit for Nolan Patrick, because at the end of the day, this agent, whoever this agent is now for Nolan Patrick, he's got to look at the best interest for Patrick, and that is a long-term deal. And if anybody gives him a 2, 3, 4, I don't think a 5-year deal is even in the picture here. But you have to expect between $2 to $3 million as a third-line center. That's got to be where Nolan Patrick stands at this point, because he hasn't proven that he can be anything more than a third-line center. And even that seems like a bit of a stretch. And the problem is you're running the risk where this guy doesn't turn out to do what you want him to do. Because, again, if you're looking for max potential, let's say a team trades for him, right? Hypothetically, the Philadelphia Flyers want to move out Nolan Patrick, because I know Flyers fans are going to say, we want a first and a prospect and and this and that. You're not getting that for Nolan Patrick right now. There is no way. You are selling him at his lowest right now. But the question is, is it one of those things where it's good for the organization, where they're not spending money on a guy that's not going to work out, and they're going off of what they hope he could become, and he hasn't for the past 3 years? Or are they going to do what's best for him and the franchise and move on? And what I think is the most fitting spot at this point is in the expansion draft to the Seattle Kraken. I think the Seattle Kraken is a perfect opportunity for Nolan Patrick. It's a fresh start on the West Coast in a completely new organization with a completely new culture and a completely new vibe. And I think Ron Francis would just be that crazy to take away Nolan Patrick from the Philadelphia Flyers. And he's going to look at that former second overall tag. He's going to look at the size. He's going to look at the weight and see, all right, we could work with this guy. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think? Right there, I'm looking at you. What do you think the future is of Nolan Patrick with the Philadelphia Flyers? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.